Welcome to the Catholic Table Talk podcast. This is where everything Catholic is on the table. New episodes Thursdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on most podcast platforms. Here's your host, William Sauber.
Well, hello there again, friends. Thank you for joining me on a brand new episode of Catholic Table Talk podcast. If you have subscribed or if you've been following the show lately, good for you, because we haven't had much for a show for a month due to family moving and stuff, as well as starting a new job for myself. Also working through the job process, and all, just a very busy time. So we took a whole month off. With that being said, we are not planning on really taking off during Christmas. We'll kind of go straight through the holiday season now. Now that we're kind of settled in our new home. So, thank you so much for sticking with us the past month. When this comes out, of course, if you listen to this, this is 2 years down the road, and this video is 2 years old, you probably don't care. But for everyone who's in the present moment, thank you for sticking with us, and we are back on, as well as a little bit of a background here for anyone who's watching at home on video, or maybe you're at school, you're not doing school, or maybe you're at work, not really doing much for work. Well, if you're on your break, that's okay. So, man, episode 163. It's been a while, like I said. Again, I'm ready to do a couple of shows. Actually, I'm not really prepared a ton for all these shows. I got a lot lined up here, but we'll give it a roll here. And please, first of all, if you haven't already, like the show, like this video, subscribe to the show. Find us on most podcast platforms, and share us with your friends and family. And please, I would say over the course of the next month, so the next 4 or 5 shows, there is going to be lots of opportunities for questions and just lots of maybe things you don't get or you might have an opinion to. So I really encourage you to take advantage to send us an email about this show or this episode or the next one, or drop comments down in the comment section, and we'll get to those as soon as possible. Because again, I'm only going over the surface. There's a lot to get into this week, next week, and the next week. But I just don't have myself and the guests maybe not have as much time. So again, I encourage you to share this with your friends and family, and don't forget to comment and ask questions and that type of stuff. So today, again, trying to remember here what we're talking about for this show. Episode 163, we're talking about kind of 3 ways, at least in my Catholic, as a lay Catholic opinion, of how the devil is working in the world. Because a lot of people, a lot of people don't believe in God, but there is, I think, a lot of number, Christians even, maybe, or just definitely other religions, who don't maybe believe in God. Also, they don't really believe in the devil. And he is currently at work, really trying to wreck the world, like he has been doing ever since he split away from God, since the beginning of time. And this is the top 3 things that I see him working, and I've noticed others have probably commented on as well, whether that's at church, whether that's talking to them over the phone, or whatever the case might be. They've been noticing this trend as well. And I'll give them in really no particular order. One of them is family and relationships. 2 is just the politics. Again, when this episode comes out, we're only about 2 months away from, less than 2 months, from the presidential election, and just the elections here in America, very, very important, no matter what party whatever. It's very, very crucial. This election is very, very crucial. And 3rd, just the confusion of the world. So I'll try to be a little fast today. But again, I gotta get it back in the swing of things. So we'll kind of start off with, I think, just the politics, and we'll give you a couple of reasons as well. I think the first thing with politics is he's currently at work is he's really dividing the country, right? He's dividing it between if you should vote for this candidate or this candidate. Now, the Catholic Church, it even says in the Catechism, I don't know what paragraph, I don't know, but it says that the Catholic Church is not in position to really endorse a candidate. You know, I don't think the Pope Francis, I don't think he can really endorse Harris or Trump, because that's not what that's what it can't happen in the Catholic Church. Catholic media really endorse people. I think I have endorsed, or other people have endorsed people, or they have mentioned more likely. But again, it's not really in the Catholic Church's position to endorse someone. So I think really, again, it's the politics. It's just divided as a country as who to vote for. And it's just that, and we come dividing, a house dividing against itself cannot stand, as well as this kind of works into families. We're not getting into families yet, but just the debate and the value we have as families as we come to the dinner table and we have opposite sides of who we want to see as president or senate, whatever the case might be. And that is kind of tough because it draws away. So, and again, it's really, the policies of the candidates. Again, I think if you're a common sense person, you can kind of see, what I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying here. It's division, and it's a lot of chaos. Not not in America, but in the whole wide world. It's politics everywhere. It just so happens that right now, in America, politics are kind of really the heated discussion right now. So again, that's how he's at work. He's dividing, and he's kind of dividing us as families at the dinner table, and he's just dividing the whole world. The world is his. That's his playground. He likes to control people, and he likes to work through people, like God works through us, right? I believe he's working through me right now to get this information out to you. Even though maybe I don't feel qualified, but that's what he's doing. And same thing, the devil works through more of the possessed and all that to get his stuff done and to come after you and your soul. So again, that's politics. That's the whole. We start in America and we go out through the whole world. We always pray for peace, like Lady of Mother Mary said, and again, the world needs it. So, second, we'll go to families and relationships, like I kind of just briefly mentioned, but again, families are divided about really who, if you're going for politics, who to vote for, who you like, who you don't like. Relationships, whether that's a boyfriend and a girlfriend, in a terrible breakup, whether that's a husband and wife with very, very addictions, pornography, alcoholism, just drugs, that type of stuff. Again, that's kind of, it's hard to get into unless you're in it, you know what I'm saying? If you're in one of those relationships, so you know people who are in those relationships, you know what I'm talking about. Again, same thing, a house divided against itself cannot stand. So, in families, like, I know one priest has mentioned this, and I think maybe others might. Again, they can't break the seal of confession, but I think a lot of priests might, say this, or they might see this trend as well. And I think even for laity, we can as well. It's just a lot of anger in families. We're not getting along, no matter the topic, no matter how relationships are. We could have the best mom and dad, but I can't stand my siblings, right? We can't agree on anything. We always ruckus with each other. We always want equal stuff. We always want, we want more than equal, right? That's how he's working. It's not, if you can't trust your own family, I mean, it's hard to trust anyone in the world. And you gotta lean on people in this world. You gotta lean on people to help them out. They help you out. You pray for them. They pray for you. That type of stuff. And really, if you're dividing as a family, as a husband and wife, as a boyfriend and girlfriend, I'm not saying boyfriend and girlfriend were made to get married. Every relationship, I'm not saying that. But there is a difference between a healthy breakup and an unhealthy breakup. So even though breakups are hard, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's a difference. So again, the devil is working in politics. He's working in his family, in the family and relationships, trying to tear us apart because the family that prays together stays together. The family who eats together stays together. The family who, goes to church together stays together, right? So he doesn't want that. He wants to, he wants to make the streets full of lots of, or not streets, but there's lots of chaos in the families and unreconciliation. Not reconciliation, but unreconciliation, not forgiving one another, and that stuff, which is, again, hard to do at times, but that's what Jesus calls do. He calls us to be reconciled with each other and, pray the rosary as a family, that stuff. And I don't know about you, but there's a lot of families who are torn, or they think they are good, the mom and dad thinks they're good, when the kids are not really that great, or, again, it all starts with the father and the mother. If you don't have good, healthy parents, I'm not saying a person's gonna be doomed. I'm just saying it's gonna be a very tough time, and that's where I think Bear Wozniak from EWTN has been on the show. We even talked about his book, 12 Rules for Manliness. So, if any fathers out there struggling, I suggest you get that book, as well as, just blanking on Dr. Wing's book right now. I do not have it here. But it's like Medicine for Women. You can get her book. That's a great book for women out there. Just to kind of help you through maybe tough times as well. And maybe that's not the correct book for the situation, but it's a great book to get as well. So again, that's family relationships. And finally, we have confusion. Now, there's a lot about this word. I actually talked to a very good friend who is a priest about this the other night, because I wanted his intake on kind of my personal life, but then also on the show content as well, and he gave some very, very good feedback on the show content. My personal life too, but for the show contact purposes, just confusion in general. Confusion about politics, again, who you vote for, divide. Confusion in the family, right? Maybe you're confused and you're getting short tempered with your mom and dad or your siblings. Confusion about everyday life, right? I know about you, but life has been good. It's been different lately. I kind of like the change with moving and new job. I love my old job, but it's a different scenery, and it's different. If you come home, if it's the same routine every day, you're kind of confused of why am I what's the purpose of my life? You know what I'm saying? So that's confusing. Also, I think what I was asking Father, and he kind of agreed with this. He was actually really, really happy. I think we were maybe talking about it, or he was very on board with this. Is the confusion of sin, right? So ever since Adam and Eve's fall, we have had sin in the world. And I mean, what do I mean by sin? I just mean like what I think as Christians, as Catholics, you always see the memes, or not really a meme, but just, I mean, it's kind of like a meme, but it's not a meme. Is there's a picture of the Eucharist line, and there's a picture of confession line. And the Eucharist line is way, way long, and the confession line is way, way small. And that's sad to begin with, but also the thing is, many Catholics don't believe in the real presence of Jesus in the body, in the Eucharist, I should say. And that's a problem as well. We are confused of, by lack of faith of, hey, I don't know. I mean, this is just bread to me. I go to church every Sunday like I'm supposed to, but I really believe it's him up there. Like, hey, Ricky, is that him? And it's just confusion of sin in terms of, is this a grave sin? Is this a venial sin? The three consequences of sin are, of course, it has to be grave. You have to have full knowledge, and I'm forgetting. I'm not prepared. See, I'm drawing a blank. So, yeah, it has to be grave, has to be full knowledge, and yeah. Now I'm blanking. Dang. But see how I am? It's kind of like, okay, I have this. I'm like, wait a minute, what's it? Oh. But anyway, so it's, again, you have to have that mindset of, pushing through. And confusion is very, very hard to push through. I mean, I think, like Father and I talked about, just the confusion of sin makes us depressed, or it makes us worry, it makes us maybe not be ourselves, and this is, I guess, my opinion more too, but it's the confusion of, not really knowing if you should receive communion or not, if not really knowing if you're just in the right relationship with Jesus. Now, that's scrupulosophy as well in terms of degree, and check out our episode on 12 Reasons to Overcome a Scrupulous Conscience. So again, and we really discussed about more of the, again, this is a tough topic to talk about, like Dr. Julie Sandusky and I, Sandusky, and I talked about kind of more on the sex life or the sex stuff. So how do you know if you went too far with, I mean, of course, if you have sex before marriage, that's the sin. Because if you masturbate freely, that's the thing. Now, if you have, and that's where, again, this is where this stuff, especially the big stuff, gets very, very complicated in terms of how do I know if I went too far, and what was the intent. Now, if you don't know, if you went too far, then it probably isn't mortal sin, but so, okay, I just looked up, because I'm like, full consent. Okay. So, grave matter has to be full knowledge and full consent. So, it's almost the same thing, and that's what it was, maybe, I don't know. So, I feel bad not knowing that, but, so again, 3 reasons, 3 must for a mortal. It must be grave. It must be committed with full knowledge that is a mortal sin, and that it must be committed with full consent. So again, and I'm just saying, if you have sex before marriage, knowing that it's fully knowable, then yes. Same thing with masturbate. If you know it's not right, you still do it. That's more. Now, like you said, if you do stuff in your sleep, that is venial. If you, again, it has to be full consent, which at times it can be challenging because it's like, man, I didn't really mean to do that, but I did that, so it's like, okay, that's venial. But, I did that, but I was kind of just in the phase. Well, see, that's where it's confusing. And that's where good Catholic reading, like Catechism, the Catholic Church, is a great thing to read when you're going through those times, or your local pastor, the priest. So again, it's very confusing about how you know if you went too far. And maybe some of you, I'm sure, hopefully most of you out there already know, which is fantastic. But once you're reading, there's maybe some sin in your life, or there has been some sin in your life, one or the other, that you've committed, and you just really don't know. You don't know if it's mortal or venial, and you really don't know maybe if that's a sin or not. And I think, listen, confusion is everywhere, but the thing is, Jesus is the truth. He's the light. He is the way. That's what gets us through our confusion. So again, confusion, politics, and family and relationships kind of intertwined though. You see how I kind of, maybe did that? They kind of intertwined. And I think those are the three big reasons the devil, or the big three, the devil is working in the world today, as he's prowling around looking for souls to devour. So, anyway, sorry about breaking out on those three conditions for more sin. Sorry for maybe taking a little bit longer, but last thing, I do want to but I do want to give you some great feedback on some great books. Let's change the background again. Connect to my computer. The Devil's Burger, The True Life of Martin Luther. So basically, how the devil used Martin Luther to do the Protestant Reformation, and all the lies and behind it. Well, we should have a show coming up soon. We're trying to get the speaker on, so that is a good one. The Exorcism of Nicola Aubry, The Triumph of the Blessed Sacrament. Also a great one, especially if you're in front of the Blessed Sacrament, needing some light in the moment of confusion. I'll get this book. A short testing on prayer, also a good one. How it can improve your prayer life. Also, coming very soon, we'll have Catholic Joe on the show with this. We'll talk about his book. This next book, folks, is something I really have not read much, but I have really enjoyed because, again, the devil is working in the physical world, but he's also working in us. He's working in the spiritual war side of things. So the Liberal Crystal Method, a field manual for spiritual combat. I highly recommend that you read this book, no matter what you're going through right now, folks. I've read a little bit, and I've always wanted to do more, but I think the devil just doesn't want me to read it, so I'm not been reading it. Not because I don't want to read it, because he's finding me other stuff to do. So I really want to pick this up back up, because this right here, folks, helps you spiritually. And when your soul dies, then you die as well. Also, if you're looking for more to find peace in people, my 50-day Pentecost in the Holy Land by our sponsor of today, I forgot to mention them, by Dr. George. And Dr. George is a family physician and practices holistic health and healing. Find him at drgeorge.com. Thank you for Dr. George for sponsoring today's episode. Sorry for not plugging them earlier, but there's another book for you. Last one, if you are into the history side of things and you are confused by, for example, maybe some countries did in the past, like the Russians, more of the kind of bad, the bad guys of the day, I should say. The Russians, which, whoever the bad guy is there, but they're still people. But this book is very, very helpful on the Soviet Union and what they were doing back in World War II. And this information they had. So, very good book. Just information. If you want copies, or if you want links to the sites, let me know, and I'll send them to you. Otherwise, that will conclude it. So, again, if you have a comment or a question, I highly encourage you to drop them down in the comments, because, again, I always get on top, and I feel like I left something out of confusion. And if you want more intake on the books, let me know. Thank you for Dr. George for sponsoring today's show, my friend. Always glad to talk about you on the show. And until we meet again, folks, ignore the devil, ignore his lies, ignore his confusion, ignore the chaos. And you can't ignore the chaos, but don't let you hang by it, I should say. And pray to your family today or tonight. Make that reconciliation and stay close to Jesus. And how you can do that? You go to the sacraments frequently. You stay in the state of grace, and you keep watching us for more wisdom, or at least maybe hopefully you do. It's not me. It's the Holy Spirit's God working through me, bringing this message to you. And I'm so glad and thankful that we're back to do this again on Catholic Table Talk. And God willing, we'll see you next week, folks.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Catholic Table Talk podcast, where everything Catholic is on the table. Don't forget to subscribe to Catholic Table Talk on your favorite podcast platform to get new episodes delivered directly to you every Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern.